Okay, let's open this case file. We're about to investigate a really shadowy global crisis. We're going to trace the journey of illegal gold, starting from Ghana's poisoned riverbeds and following it all the way into the world's financial system. Yeah, this is a story about environmental crime, some seriously sophisticated criminal networks, and a high-tech fight to try and stop them.
This quote, wow, it just sets the stage perfectly, doesn't it? What we're about to get into isn't some temporary problem. No, this is about permanent damage to the environment, to communities, and to an entire nation's economy.
And the evidence? Well, it starts with numbers like this. 100 times. In some parts of the country, the water turbidity, how cloudy and polluted the water is 100 times higher than the safety limit. That's a direct, measurable result of all this illegal mining.
So, let's begin our investigation where you always start, at the crime scene. But in this case, the evidence isn't tucked away in some lab. It's flowing right out in the open for everyone to see through the country's biggest rivers.
I mean, just look at this. We're talking about essential water sources that have literally been turned into these thick, toxic flows of red mud. The heavy metal contamination is so bad that the local water treatment plants, well, they just can't handle it. They've been forced to shut down, cutting off clean water for thousands and thousands of people.
Now, here's where things get really, really alarming. This poison, the mercury they use for the mining, it doesn't just stay in the water. No way. It seeps into the soil, it gets into the food chain, and now it's being found in cocoa beans, the absolute backbone of Ghana's economy. This is threatening their entire multi-billion-dollar industry, especially now that international buyers are getting much stricter about safety.
Okay, so let's move to the next part of our case file. How is this gold actually being extracted and moved around? Because this isn't just a few guys with pans in a river, this is a sophisticated, well-funded underground network.
And this breaks it down perfectly. You have these 4 key stages that take this dirty, illegally mined gold and somehow transform it into what looks like a totally legitimate product on the international market. It starts in the pit, gets collected by middlemen, smuggled across borders, and then, finally, it's rebranded for export. Every single step is designed to wash the crime right off the gold.
So, who's funding all this? They're called shadow investors. These are the secretive financiers at the very top of the food chain. They're the ones providing the expensive excavators and the toxic mercury, funding the whole operation. And in return, they get to buy all the gold at a discount, making massive profits while staying completely in the shadows.
All right, now we follow the money. Why go to all this trouble? Because this whole thing isn't just about the value of the gold itself. It's about using gold to hide and clean huge amounts of illicit cash from all sorts of other criminal activities.
You see, this is the crucial point. The physical properties of gold make it the perfect tool for criminals. You can hold $1 million worth of it in your hands. It's portable, it's anonymous, and you can melt it down anywhere in the world and turn it into untraceable cash. No questions asked.
This comparison just lays it all out there. Try to send a huge wire transfer through a bank. Red flags go up everywhere. You leave a digital paper trail, but moving that same value using gold, it's physical, it's totally anonymous, and it completely bypasses the entire financial system. It allows millions to just silently glide across borders.
And the laundering doesn't stop once the gold is sold. Oh no. The profits then get cleaned even more. They're sunk into hard assets, luxury cars, high-end real estate. Or they're moved through these informal systems like Hawala, where value gets transferred between brokers all over the globe without a single dollar ever actually crossing a border.
So faced with this spiraling crisis, the authorities in Ghana decided they had to launch a new strategy. In early 2026, they rolled out a high-tech counteroffensive designed to fight this shadow network with digital transparency.
And at the very heart of this new strategy is GoldBod. You can think of it like a new sheriff in town. It's a powerful government body created to bring order, regulation, and transparency to an industry that has been operating in the dark for way too long.
And here's how they plan on doing it. First, geofencing. They create these digital boundaries around all the legal mines. Any gold coming from outside those areas gets immediately flagged. Second, digital passports. Every single legal bar of gold gets a unique, traceable digital identity. And third, a gold for oil policy, which directly connects the country's gold to its economic stability. It's like a three-pronged high-tech shield. But as we've seen in so many of these cases, new technology and new policies, they're only part of the solution. The real fight, the ultimate battle, it always comes down to a much older, more human problem: political will.
And this is the real challenge.
The source material we're looking at tells us that enforcement keeps hitting what they call a political ceiling. So the guys operating the excavators in the pits, they get arrested. But the actual owners, the powerful, well-connected figures and those shadow investors, they just seem to be above the law.
And that brings us to the final critical question that's going to determine everything. Can this new high-tech system actually break through that political ceiling? The real test of this whole strategy isn't whether it can track a bar of gold, but whether it can finally prosecute the kingpins at the top, not just the workers at the very bottom. The answer to that question will decide the future of Ghana's golden underworld.